the water. And when Philip took him down in the water, and when he came up out of the water, the eunuch looked for Philip, and the book said Philip was gone. But what it also says that he had been translated some 30 miles down the road. I'm trying to tell you there's another dimension. We like to look at stuff called Manifest and some of these other shows that come on Netflix and say, ooh, that's spooky. No, baby, there's a reality, because the unseen realm is more real than what you see. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing to me in here. I'm trying to tell you there's another place in God that if we ever tap into it, but it all has to start with the reality that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul knows it. I don't care what the enemy tries to come and feed my mind. I don't care what passengers try to tag along in my head. I know the reality that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I don't care if you don't agree with it. I don't care if you don't like me. My soul knows it, baby. Something down. The old folks couldn't articulate it. They just said there's something down in me that keeps telling me. Put your hand on it. I'm finished. I'm done. Put your hand on yourself. Say, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Watch, and my soul knows. Come on, put your hand on yourself. There ain't nothing wrong with me. Not with my spirit. Yes, I'm incarcerated in flesh. I'm incarcerated with it because I have to deal with it. But God gave me an out to lean over into this dimension. And when I come out, I have the capacity to fight. I'm closing. God speaks to Jeremiah and tells him, he says, boy, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. This is what messed folks up. Would suggest to me that before he formed me, if he knew me, that suggests that I knew God. If he knew me, then I knew him. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing here. That's why we have what the scripture calls the ministry of reconciliation. Because you can't reconcile a couple that has never been married. You can't reconcile a couple that ain't never been together. Talk to me. God gave us the ministry of reconciliation. We are reconnecting you. You're not just coming down here, I gave my life to God. No, you gave your life to Christ 2,000 years ago. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. He reconnects you to himself. Are you hearing me? He said, before I formed you, I knew you, boy. Watch this. Not only did I know you, but I called you. Before you even showed up on this planet, you had assignment. The scripture in Ephesians says that we were chosen in him by divine election when? Before the foundation of the world. Can I say that again? We were chosen. Put your hand on yourself and say, I was chosen in God before the world was even created. Come on, say, I came here with purpose. I came here with an assignment. I came here with power. We're chosen in him by divine election. We're getting ready to come up on an election cycle here in a year or two where candidates are going to be running for office, right? How many know in the political arena When candidates start running for office, they start making promises. Right? They start making promises. And 9 times out of 10, when they get in office, they done forgot you and the promise that they made. Huh? They start making promises. Well, if that's true, if we were chosen in God before the foundation of the world by divine election, and if the council, when God says let us, that's a council, that's more than what he said, let us make man. If there was a council meeting in heaven and God saying, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? I need somebody in Columbus, Ohio, but he's not going to be born in Columbus, but I'm going to send him to Columbus, and I need somebody there in Columbus who will carry the gospel in 2022. Remember, this is before the worlds even began. Are y'all hearing me? There's nothingness, there's darkness and void. I need somebody who will carry the gospel in Columbus, Ohio. The angels, what's Columbus? You'll find out. You'll figure it out in a minute. I need somebody to carry the gospel. Who shall I send? Who will go for us? And there's a scripture in Hebrews that says that God is the Father of spirits. And in the divine council chamber, when God says who will go for us, there was one spirit in the room that was louder than everybody else's spirit, saying, here am I, God, send me. I'll go, I'll stand in the gap. I'll be the one that will be born in another place, but I'll ultimately end up where you assigned for me to go. And God said, who is that spirit in the atmosphere that is louder than everybody else? And God hears the spirit, identifies the spirit, snatches that spirit out of the atmosphere, walks over to the sperm bank of heaven, and the scripture says that he goes down the Rolodex and finds H. There he is, Latif Abdul Hafez, and grabbed that sperm out of the atmosphere and took that spirit that said, I'll go, and stuffed it down into the seed, and at the appointed time issued him forth into the earth. But it was the enemy's job, because Job said that a man is born of a woman of a few days and full of trouble. Y'all ain't gonna holler back at your boy. And so the enemy's job is to try to distract and thwart and cancel and negate the purpose of the campaign promise that the Spirit made before the world even showed up. That's why some of you are uncomfortable. You can't rest at night. You can't sleep at night, because you know something down in you is not fulfilling the campaign promise that your spirit man made before you even showed up on the planet. And you'll never be satisfied until you give God a total yes. I'll do it. I know what I promised you before you even formed me. I gotta step in line with what you called me to do. Y'all ain't gonna holler back at me. And the enemy came to distract him and literally came to destroy him. You heard his own testimony. Just 2 years ago, he had flatlined 3 times, and the enemy said, I got him. I'm destroying the purpose. But the book said that no weapon that's formed against me shall prosper, because I made God a vow and I made God a promise before I even showed up on the planet. And God is not about to let me go down until I complete my assignment. That's why you got to know that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul tell somebody, before I even showed up, God knew me. And I knew God. All we are called to do is remind. That's a loaded word. Remind. Re means do again. I got to reprogram your thinking because you're thinking too much in this level. I need to program you to this level. That's what Jesus, God, has been trying to get that principle in us for years. Even from the creation. I got to stop. Even from the creation. When God created everything, he looked at Adam and said, I'm not naming nothing. I created it, but I'm not naming anything. Whatever you call it, I'm going to back up your word. Are y'all seeing? Are you seeing where I'm going? He said, whatever you call it, I'm going to back up your word. Huh? That's why he said, you got to learn how to speak those things. In the New Testament, he tells the disciples this: whatever you bind on earth, are you hearing me? It's the power in your mouth. But if you aren't thinking right, you can't speak right. Am I making sense to you? Stand to your feet. I'm done. I've gone way too long. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I know it. You got it. My psyche knows. You got to know it when you are walking through the shadow. You got to know it. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. That's when the old folks say, you got to know that you know that you know that you know that you know. You got to know it. When you're at your lowest point, you got to speak to yourself. You don't need a prophet to come to town. You can walk to your bathroom mirror and prophesy to yourself. I know that I know that I know that I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I know the enemy's fighting me right now, but if I don't know anything else, I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and I know I came here with purpose. I know that I came here with an assignment. I know I came here with destiny, and no devil is going to take me out prematurely until I accomplish that what I've been called to do. So as I take, if I go Baptist now, good evening, y'all. I got to go to my seat now. But I encourage you to get in your prayer closet. I know we got away with the prayer closet, but you got to get back in the closet. I know folks is coming out of it, but I need you to go in it. Go into the prayer closet and get down on your face and stay there until you be endued with power. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Put your hand on yourself and say, I am fearfully. Come on, let's